Vonleh takes it away. The pass from Van Sluten at the other end. Sherrod all the way. The run out, the layup, and in. And Colorado has their first lead.
Well, those live ball turnovers into transition points. That's a nice take. Just unable to get it to go. And nice extra pass there by Bueta.
Good pocket pass to Sarah Rose Smith for the bucket. It's 18-8 Colorado.
There's some highlights of the CU basketball win for the CU women in Eugene, Oregon over the Ducks as they get the split against the Oregon teams last weekend. Back in the Buffalo Stampede. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, back here at Corelli's Monday night, 7 till 8 o'clock. We're out here for Buffs prime time. CU women now have to go on the road for the second week in a row. They're at the Washington schools this week, and we sat down and talked with JR about her games in Oregon and what's coming up in the Great Northwest.
Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Women coming off a split. I mentioned the men's split. They flipped it. The women dropped their first ball game on Friday at number 25 Oregon State, 68-62, and then really took it to Oregon on Sunday, 61-48. Your defense was outstanding on Sunday.
It was.
48 points.
Yeah, you know, we held in the second quarter, they didn't have a single field goal. And I didn't even realize it until the game's over. Sometimes the game's just going and you don't, you know, you think, oh, this feels pretty good, but you don't realize statistically how good it is. So, yeah, really good defense this weekend.
Well, I think what you love to see about that is that's the way your team responded to what went on Friday, right?
Yeah, disappointed Friday, you know, and Oregon State's really good. They absolutely demolished number 16 Utah the next day. You know, so they're a really good team, but still disappointed, but always happy when you have a good response.
Yeah. Go back to that ball game on Friday. Where were the liabilities? Where things get away from
We just didn't play very well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's Gill Coliseum's a really hard place to play. 10,000 people. It's old. It's loud. It's hot. It's, you know, every excuse you could make
kind
about
of an old barn. It really is.
Yeah.
And
we didn't shoot the ball particularly well, and truthfully, we didn't defend well enough to win. And they just beat us. They were better than us that night.
You know, during a season, you're going to have some hiccups. Good teams many times find a way to fight through those, and every once in a while one's going to get away from you. This team's been pretty consistent all season long.
We have been consistent. The couple setbacks that we have had, I've loved our response. No one points fingers. Everyone just kind of gets in the room and says, what do we need to do better? Where could we have been better?
Yeah.
You know, and an area that we really targeted after the Oregon State game Friday was our communication is not where it needs to be.
Okay.
You know, if you get 5 seconds in a huddle, there's certain things that have to be communicated, and you only have 5 seconds, so we don't have time for feelings. We don't have time for trying to figure out who wants to hear it in a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, we just got to be able to communicate more effectively.
In that vein, take us into a huddle. When a timeout happens, who's talking? Is it mainly you? Is T talking? What are the other assistants? Do you want to hear from the players? How does it normally unfold?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the scenario.
Okay.
You know, Toriano usually goes in first, and he is always talking defense.
Yeah.
Then I usually kind of come in and talk offense. And it could be, you know, what are we doing well? What are we not doing well? What do we need to fix? Like maybe ball screen coverage. This isn't working. Let's try this. You know, and a lot of times we will ask our players, what are you seeing? What are you feeling, you know, on the court? Because we know what we're seeing, but sometimes they're in a scenario and they feel something different, so we need to make sure we're all together.
I'm always fascinated by coaching staffs and how you all do it, and every staff's a little bit different. Are you taking, as the head coach, a lot of feedback during the game from all the staff, or do you kind of want to just have your view of things?
Yeah, no, I always love feedback. So, you know, sometimes you take and say, oh, that's a great idea, let's do that. Or sometimes you think, nah, I don't want to do that because of X, Y, and Z. But I'm always open and want feedback.
You know, we were talking with Tad about what's going on in terms of winning on the road and how in the men's game it's become difficult because of the older play. Is the same thing happening on the women's side?
I think so. I just, you know, everyone is just so stinking good.
Yeah.
You know, like the teams we're going to play this weekend, Washington State and Washington. Neither team is ranked right now, but Washington State yesterday beat number 2 UCLA.
Right.
Washington yesterday beat number 11 USC. So I mean, they're capable of beating everybody. You know, and so it is of course harder on the road, and everybody we're playing is just really tough.
Yeah. Well, you don't walk in, so you don't see anybody more in college basketball. You walk in and go, well, out of the 13 players, they've got 9 of them are freshmen and sophomores. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah,
you're facing 22 and 23 and 24-year-olds.
Right. Yeah, and the freshmen that are playing, they're just not as many that are playing. You know, there's a couple special ones that are, you know, Oregon State has a couple really, really good freshmen, you know, that played really well against us, but it is becoming more and more rare.
I want to mention this. I saw this yesterday or a couple days ago. It came out. that there were some awards handed out from the Colorado Sports Women of the Year.
Yeah.
And from the basketball side, well, Shira James from soccer, Morgan Miller from golf, but Jalen picked up an award, and you got the Joan Burton Leadership Award.
Yeah, it's such an honor. You know, we have such a
give her a round of applause.
And great for
Make room in the
Jalen.
trophy case.
Yeah, well, not mine, but Jalen's trophy case is filling up. You know, she's been put on a lot of watch lists and things like that. So really, really great to have awards in the state of Colorado because, of course, this is home and this is where, you know, we're trying to motivate and inspire young girls to play basketball and be in positions of leadership and things like that. So we love to, you know, to be able to celebrate that.
Head coach J.R. Payne, the 6th-rated Buffaloes after the split last week. They head on the road for the 2nd week in a row. They're in Pullman on Friday, in Seattle against the Huskies on Sunday. Coming up next here in the Buffalo Stampede, we're talking track and field. Avery McMullen, who's been outstanding in a pentathlon. We're going to talk with her and her coach, Lindsey Malone, coming up next here in the Stampede.